Hello and welcome. I'm BK Tyagi, the host for the show. As you know, the very nature of doing science has changed since the past few decades. It has now acquired an international character and it is being done more in a collaborative manner involving participation of scientists from different disciplines, institutions and the countries. This is more so because the common problem like pollution, environment, biodiversity, which all countries are facing today. For any individual country, especially from the groups of developing country, it is very difficult to work in isolation because of lack of experience, know-how, resources and infrastructure. They also need cooperation and support from other developed or developing country. There are many other factors which directly or indirectly prompt the collaboration that may be economical, educational, exchange and of course the political relationship. From the policy perspective, for India, regional cooperation has always remained a key concern. Time to time, India has signed several collaborative agreements with many countries. India also collaborates very closely with major groups of countries having common interests and concerns. Today, we have two special guests in our studio. Our first guest is Shri Sanjeev Vachne. So Vachne ji, welcome to our studio and welcome to the show. He is heading the International Division of Department of Science and Technology. And our second guest is Shri Rajkumar, Scientist F in International Division. So both of you, Sanjeev ji and Rajkumar ji, welcome to our show.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for accepting our invitation. My first question is, when, like with major countries like USA, Germany and France, we have a bilateral agreement. And what advantage you see when we sign this, the agreement with a group of country, which we call it a regional cooperation kind of thing? First you can...
I'll give you an example.
Yeah.
We are having a satellite which collects weather data.
Yeah.
It flies over India and it covers all our neighbors.
Yeah.
So if we are taking data from Bengal and Manipur, obviously data from Bangladesh is there. Similarly, we have data for Nepal, Bhutan, those kind of things. Can we share that data with them? Can we help them? So we have been giving them so many forewarnings about various natural systems based on our data. Of course, raw data we are not sharing. But what I was trying to say is that nature is a system which does not recognize a geographic boundary and we are affected by a major concern.
Okay.
So it could be for weather, it could be for the crops, it could be for the medicines, it could be for the materials, in water and sanitation, and so many other aspects. So there is a requirement to look at issues at a much bigger perspective.
Okay.
And that is why we need.
Yeah, you means like basically sharing of knowledge in a way, which because we are in a better position, so...
we may not always be in a better position. We may be taking also some
it's a
time.
mutual in the sense, Rajkumar ji, which are the major, the agreement in terms of, if we look at the regional cooperation as one of the major, you can say, the tenet of our international cooperation?
Yeah, among multilateral and regional cooperation, presently we have around 8 to 10 very active and progressive arrangements. First one I can say is a European European Union cooperation, India EU cooperation in science and technology. Then we also have a very, since last 4 or 5 years, we have developed this BRICS science and technology cooperation also. Then as a third arrangement which I can mention here is ASEAN, and ASEAN program is one of the, as a from diplomatic and strategic point of view, it's very important to India. And this ASEAN-India-centric cooperation, it's only program with the Department of Science and Technology in which the entire funding, we have created a ASEAN-India Science and Technology Development Fund. So in that contribution, this is the only program where the complete contribution is from the Government of India.
Okay, means like the whole fund is okay.
I could add one more. We are having a program with Africa So there again, entire support base goes from government of India.
Okay. So, what are the other, like ASEAN, and you said then I think BRICS is also there, and as you said, the European Union.
Yeah, these three programs are we are having multiple sub schemes or sub programs where collaborative ongoing R&D projects are there. We have also created innovation platforms within these groupings. But apart from this, the other multilateral regional programs which we are engaged in are one is IORA, Indian Ocean Rim Association.
Okay.
Then it's now recently Honorable Prime Minister also announced the creation of IPOI, Indo-Pacific Ocean Initiative.
Okay.
This initiative is led by India. We have identified some 7 pillars for cooperation, and this is more dominated in maritime security or maritime trade, those kind of things. Then we also have partnering in BIMSTEC, BIMSTEC Science and Technology Cooperation, and under BIMSTEC we are on the very advanced stage of establishing a BIMSTEC technology facilitation center.
Okay.
That will be coming up in Colombo. The text of this MOA, Memorandum of Association among these BIMSTEC countries, it has already been finalized, and it's most likely to be announced by during the next BIMSTEC summit.
I would like to know what are the major area of cooperation in terms of, because I found there is a quite varied kind of agreements, like EU has like totally different from ASEAN. So what are the major area of cooperation?
Actually, what we are doing is basically most of these platforms are politically driven, and we are making use for science.
Okay.
So since there is a political understanding to work together, what we are trying to do is that common issues which could be addressed by each other's strength, that is what we are trying. But in most of them, idea is one, not only understanding the scientific challenge, but also to prepare our manpower. So human capacity development is one of the essential items. So we are exposing our young students, young researchers to undertake short-term projects within those long-term goals. And so that we could develop some new products which are market ready and are of social relevance. So for this purposes, not only research exposure, but also if required trainings on working in mega facilities, that is also provided. And we are covering wide subjects, right from health, food, sanitation and water, energy,
environment also.
Environment. So we are trying to cover all those aspects depending upon the mutual compatibility and what kind of challenge we are looking forward.
If I look at the whole scenario in terms of like what we have done over the past year, if I'll say like to what extent we were benefited by these agreements, and vis-a-vis the in what way we have been proved as a support or beneficial to other countries.
Well, you see, scientific challenges are those which are never ending, let me tell you.
True.
For example, let us take health. So we did a program on malaria, and now some of the countries are malaria free, but India is still not. India is still having malaria.
And it was an initiative of India.
And it was India was the lead partner in that. We are a member of International AIDS Vaccine Initiative, so that also we are working, and quite in a reasonable position we are. We are working with a lot of countries on water-related issues. So it includes salination, portability, providing solutions at house level to village level to town level. Now, I'll just give you an example. Now we have reached a position that entire Lakshadweep water supply is done from the sea. and this is treated in-house
Okay.
on the island of one of the island of Lakshadweep, and then entire Lakshadweep is taken care of. Last time when India faced tsunami, up to 50 kilometer inside our groundwater was salinated.
Okay.
And we had a challenge to provide citizens of those area which were within 50 kilometer of the sea coast, eastern sea coast, to provide water. Now we cannot wait for a long, and we need to provide some local solution because water is there. It's not
Yeah.
worth taking.
Yeah.
So it's highly saline. So we provided those kind of things. Similarly, we are looking for clean energy solutions. So again, what we are looking for is we are not banking on grid supply, because if I need to put a grid to a remote village, it is going to cost me more.
Yeah.
So instead, if we could look for solutions which are village level solution or township level solution, that would be much more advanced.
Sanjeev ji, Rajkumar ji, I have to take a short break here, and don't go away. We'll be right back after a short break.
India Science is an internet-based science TV channel initiated by the Department of Science and Technology, Government of India, implemented and managed by Vigyan Prasar. India Science on the URL www.indiascience.in is a bilingual channel with content in Hindi and English. It can be accessed on any internet-enabled device. This video platform is dedicated to science and technology knowledge dissemination with a strong commitment to spreading scientific awareness, especially with Indian perspectives, ethos and cultural context. The India Science mobile app can be downloaded from the Google Play Store and Apple Store.
Welcome back after the short break. Rajkumar ji, it is a continuation of the same question. In a way, it's an other side of the coin. In what way, by these agreements or through these regional cooperation, how India has been benefited? If I'll take the example of last decade, for that matter.
Yeah, if I can give you an example, as I said, this ASEAN program, our main objective is to engage these ASEAN countries and enhance the people-to-people connectivity.
Okay. Yeah.
From Government of India perspective, we need to enhance the people-to-people connectivity between India and ASEAN countries. So in that context, we have launched several programs where the people-to-people connectivity can be enhanced. So presently, we have launched this ASEAN India Research and Training Fellowships, where we are inviting ASEAN researchers to work in any of the Indian institutions for a period of up to 6 months. So in that context, we have, in addition to building of our relationship with the ASEAN countries, in terms of science, we are gaining internationalization of our academic and educational institutions.
Okay.
Like these are ASEAN students, PhD students, they are coming over to India. So they are getting exposed, and our research institutions or academic institutions, they are getting internationalization from that point of view. Then most of these ASEAN researchers are PhD students. So they are working here at Indian institutions, and whatever the project they are working on, the Indian host will be the co-author in those papers.
So that means we are knowledge partner to the outcome.
Not only knowledge partner, but if you see our institutions, why they are not in top 100 or top 200 global ranking. One of the factor is that we are not having internationalization of student and faculty. Now this is what we are trying now.
Okay.
So to attract a student from any part of the world and also to get faculty.
This is true to other agreements also?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Can you we have like European countries and if I'll take an example. So if I take this European Union as an example, in what way our researchers or scientists has been benefited?
You see, 2 or 3 kind of things are there. One is, of course, fellowship, like we have Marie Curie fellowship. And other aspect is 2 or 3 year research projects.
Okay.
So normally European Union will make a call and 2 partners from 2 different European nations and 2 partners from India. So they could join hand and form a team and submit a proposals.
Okay.
So that way, while to Indian researchers, funds are provided by the department. To the European partner, funds goes from the EU. So we have been able to take joint research projects with our EU partners.
Okay.
So that provides long-term inter-institutional linkages. So it's not one faculty to one faculty, but in fact one group to another group. And that way we are advancing.
Okay. So, in terms of, I'll take, besides the mutual exchange of manpower and training of manpower and upscaling their skill and all that, if I'll ask you in terms of any product or any innovation or technology which has benefited India as a whole or the country which has a similar situation, especially the ASEAN country.
We are working on those projects, but because in a multilateral platform, there are only 1 or 2 countries which are interested. For example, in EU, we are having research collaboration targeted towards product development with number of countries.
Okay.
It includes France, it includes Italy, Spain, Germany. Also now it's part of Europe, but UK. Not part of EU, but part of Europe. We are having program with Russia. We are having program. So those programs we are dealing at bilateral level.
Okay.
So anything which we find worth pursuing at some other scale, if the existing platform is not very excited, we take it on bilateral level.
Let's take an example. You would like to.
Just in continuation of this question, under our India ASEAN program, we have created a ASEAN India innovation platform.
Okay.
And the basic idea of innovation platform is that we are building a common data bank of social innovations, product innovations, and research innovations.
Okay.
Research innovations, the only, any application or product or service coming out of research laboratories. So the idea is that we are pooling, this is a common database, we are pooling India and all ASEAN countries, they are pooling their innovations and technologies in that data bank.
Okay.
So based on the requirement for each country, like we may be interested in any of the innovation or technology which is already available in ASEAN countries, which we can transfer and modify or upscale that technology for use in our India. Similarly, in addition to this, we have also as a network, we are networking TBIs of Indian TBIs as well as all TBIs in ASEAN countries.
Can you expand on TBI? What's that?
Yeah, it's technology business incubators.
Okay.
Yeah, technology business incubators. So we are now creating a network of ASEAN and India technology business incubators.
Okay.
So any technology which we are having, that if it can be transferred and further incubated in that particular ASEAN country. Similarly, we can under this networking program, any technology or innovation available in Singapore, we wish to transfer or commercialize in India and vice versa. So we are doing from innovation technology point of view under this program.
And how this database is it in a public domain or how it is institutionalized, in the sense suppose if I found something, that innovation that can be adapted or slightly repurposed to be for a better use in India. So how should I
we have
do that
created websites specifically for some corporation, for example, Asian Corporation. And
Is it in public domain?
It is in
Yes,
public
in
domain.
public.
Okay.
And all the information, proposals, interest are being parked over there.
Okay.
So if any interested partner finds that interest worth pursuing, we can connect.
Yeah, I mean, it's in public domain, and even any individual wish to upload or share his innovation and technology, he can upload that.
Okay.
And after uploading, we will technically
Evaluate
see
that.
the viability of that product, and if we see it's worth pursuing, then from that point of view, till the final commercialization, this complete chain is then supported through this program. Similarly, like anyone can upload his or her innovation and technology. Anyone can even see if any company or individual or organization is interested, they can browse through those innovations, and if he is interested, he can submit his expression of interest that he wish to get this advantage or transfer this innovation technology. That is also possible under that.
Okay, that means I mean it's really good, like the pooling of this knowledge and then sharing and commercializing it in what way, anybody who is there.
In fact, the idea is to take it to the society.
To the society. Yeah, I think that's the whole purpose of science and technology and that cooperation which we are talking about. But again, one question is in the sense like whatever these regional cooperation agreements which we have, there is already a political base over which we have built up the cooperation for SNT. Is there something which is beyond that as well?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
In fact, there are certain programs which are driven by the challenge.
For example,
we are energy deficient country. So we are participating in 2 of the programs.
Okay.
Our Prime Minister himself is leading a program on International Solar Alliance.
Okay.
Similarly, we have another program on clean energy, not only solar, but all form of clean energy called Mission Innovations. We are doing AIDS initiative. So there are programs which are focused towards the need. So that we are undertaking.
Okay. So like whenever, as I told you, like there is a political base already there,
Yeah.
but many times there are political differences also. To what extent these agreements are affected? Or
I'll give you an example
Yeah.
of BRICS.
Yeah.
You see, right now, world is seeing China from a different perspective. And in BRICS, we are partner.
Okay.
So there are a lot of ideas given by our Chinese colleagues, which are looked not very happily, maybe with some degree of suspicion, that why they are proposing this new idea or what they want to do it.
Okay.
But eventually, the scientific spirit prevails, and we would like to see how society at large is going to gain.
Yeah.
And we are mutually agreeing on any proposal, even if it is originated from any of the member country, as long as we find it convincing. Second thing, I must say, it is not mandatory that all the country implement the idea which is proposed by one, and if a country is in disagreement, they cannot.
They can withdraw.
They can be out of those ideas.
Sanjeev ji, Rajkumar ji, I have to again take a short break, and we'll be right back after this, again the second short break. Don't go away.
India Science is an internet-based science TV channel initiated by the Department of Science and Technology, Government of India, implemented and managed by Vigyan Prasar. India Science on the URL www.indiascience.in is a bilingual channel with content in Hindi and English. It can be accessed on any internet-enabled device. This video platform is dedicated to science and technology knowledge dissemination with a strong commitment to spreading scientific awareness, especially with Indian perspectives, ethos and cultural context. The India Science mobile app can be downloaded from the Google Play Store and Apple Store.
Welcome back after the short break. As you know, we have two special guests with us, Dr. Sanjeev Vashne and Rajkumar ji. Sanjeev ji, just my question is like, we know this corona crisis across the world, and we have a major agreement with many countries, regional cooperation. So how we are like looking at this problem in terms of S&T cooperation and finding the solution of the same?
Well, this is very interesting question because normally in multilateral platforms, to arrive at any decision or any new call takes pretty long because a long consultative process goes. If it is EU, it may take a year or so to announce something very new. But on this particular crisis, amongst BRICS countries, we reached an understanding very fast. And what we did, we organized series of webinar, one every week. And that helped us to identify 7 or 8 BRICS related challenges. And we immediately announced the call, and we received also good number of proposals, 120 proposals we have received, in which at least 3 BRICS countries are partner. And these are related not only to development of therapeutics, including vaccines, but are also working towards various antiviral coatings, materials. They are working toward disinfectants, working on informatics, bioinformatics, or applications. For example, Arogya Setu, something like that. So some more of those may come. So what I'm trying to say is we quickly reached an understanding. We received the proposal and we have agreed that we will evaluate them fast. And we would be granting them immediately. So in a very short span, we'll do it. And idea is not only COVID, but any future viral attack we should be targeting. So our these programs are for all those antiviral issues. So I forgot to mention, we will also do a lot of virology, epidemiology, those kind of things.
If I take that whole thing with respect to ASEAN country, so how what is in offering as far as this corona pandemic is concerned?
Under ASEAN program also, we have already launched a joint call for a proposal for R&D projects, and especially focusing on biomedical devices pertaining to COVID-19.
So, do like these cooperation have anything to do, because most of the research is now, like if we look at the vaccines, they have been done by multinationals, and
no, I'll tend to disagree actually, because what happens that all of us may look similar, but we are having different blood composition, different gene composition, and if you see that one medicine will do good on one patient and will not do good on a second candidate, and will do bad for the third candidate. So it's the kind of population, so which is a base, who is going to become beneficiary. So we need to see that how different society are going to take those vaccines. So one vaccine may not solve
be maybe not be for a universal use for across the world.
So that is why number of attempts are being made, and people are trying in different ways.
So that means we are expecting good news from our these regional corporations also. Now my last question is to both of you. Like if we look at the future ahead in terms of the corona pandemic, the whole the scenario has changed. The total social transformation is there in terms of adopting the new norms, what we are talking about. So what is in offering as far as this regional corporations are concerned?
Well, I would like to mention 3 very specific things. One is we are going to take BRICS presidency from 1st of January next year. Second, there is a group of 20 developed countries, G20 we call it. So we are going to become member of the TRIOCA. Now TRIOCA is the president, the immediate president, immediate past president, and the future president.
Okay.
So we are going to, India is one of the future president, and we take G20 presidency from December 2021.
Yes.
So, but we get involved in the Troika from December this year. So we are expecting a lot of new activity to come. And then we are also going to have a meeting of heads of state of Shanghai Cooperation Organization. Is another format which we are having with a lot of Central Asian republics, including China and Russia. So that heads of state meeting is in November this year.
Okay.
Now, all these three have a major component of science. So, G20 has got a science track which is called Science S20, and we will have series of program. And of course, in BRICS presidency, we are going to do series of all events, including S&T ministerial meeting, senior official meetings, different training program, young scientist conclave. They all would be in India, so we would be exposing our scientific institution to the member states and people. But in Shanghai Cooperation also we are having this young scientist meet. But unfortunately, what is happening because of COVID, we have to shelve some of our program, and which we are moving into online version, which means that these community may not have the advantage of seeing our institutions. But anyway, those mentorship, those programs, they would be on cards and they would be available. Would you like to add something on this?
I ask you, Rajkumar ji, in terms of like ASEAN country to be very specific, and the COVID. So what is in offering? In terms of products, vaccine, or about the R&D about the virus or virology as such?
Yeah, as I mentioned, we have already launched joint call for proposals, which is purely focusing on biomedical devices pertaining to COVID.
Okay.
Under our ASEAN India Innovation Platform, like maybe organize these webinars in specific areas, for inviting or innovation or technological projects. So under ASEAN also we are in the discussion of organize similar webinars. So in where these ASEAN countries, because within India ASEAN, India see as a leader among these groupings, and there are very Vietnam, Laos, Cambodia, Myanmar. These are termed as a maybe least developing countries. So they are looking at us to provide them some solutions. So during these webinars, they will be proposing their requirements and what they have in bag. Similarly, we will be looking at what we can offer to them, and what we can also get out of them. So this as a series of webinars we will be conducting in near future, and if something come out of those proposals, that will be supported through our ASEAN India Innovation Platform, through ASEAN India Center Development Fund.
Besides like students and the scientists and if I say like what we are offering to entrepreneurs through these agreements, especially in a wake of this COVID, because the whole thing has changed now. The priority has changed. Even the research which we plan have to be take a back seat for the time being, and more emphasis on that in terms of products, medicine, healthcare the system and all that. So what is an offering for them?
As my colleague told you, that for ASEAN we have offered these innovation platforms where we are expecting startups, MSME sectors, new generation entrepreneurs to come up and submit us proposals on any solution towards any challenges, and department would be too glad to consider those proposals. Even at domestic level, we have launched that competition called Kavach, and we have received quite a good interest. In international cooperation also, we have received quite a good interest from Israel, from Japan, from several EU members, US, Canada. So we are looking for matchmaking those things. Now, because time is rather short and we are still finalizing. So challenge is there. We were initially focusing on our domestic sectors, domestic entrepreneurs. That stage we have reached, and now we are trying to connect them to the
Okay.
global community.
And you would like to add something to that, Rajkumarji?
In terms of entrepreneurs, as I said, this innovation platform, it's basically divided into three sub-components. One is social innovations, second one is research innovations, and third one is product innovations.
Okay.
Basically, the product innovation is for the startups and private companies or industries. So whatever the innovations or technology they have to share, and maybe like to transfer or acquire from Asian countries. So there's this involvement of entrepreneurs or startups or SMSG that we are doing this under our ASEAN India Innovation Plan.
So, Sanjeev ji, Rajkumar ji, thank you very much for sharing some of those, the insights about these, the outcome of those regional cooperation of Department of Science and Technology. And thank you very much for being with us and sharing your thoughts. I hope you like the program. Please do share your views, comments on the email being flashed on the screen. That's all for today, and take care about yourself and your youngers and the elders. And goodbye and namaste.